for the vacant WBA Super Middleweight World Championship, and it's all brought to you by Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, broadcast live on Sky Sports Box Office and presented in association with Team Sauerland, with sponsorship provided by BetSafe, StubHub, and JD Sports. First up onto the scales, please welcome the fighter with a record of 14 victories, only 1 defeat, 10 big wins by knockout. He comes to us from Bratsk, Russia. Dame y gospoda, the undefeated WBA, former undefeated WBA Super Middleweight World Champion, Fedor Chudinov.
So here he comes, the man from Russia, largely untested at this sort of level, but a very good technical boxer, Johnny, and could prove a very stiff test indeed for George Groves.
Good box fighter for George Groves. George needs to make sure he's on point. He can't afford to let this man get into rhythm, pushing back. Chudinov is a good box fighter. He knows how to pressure fighters and make them work out the pace they're not comfortable with. George's job is he's got to control this man. If you look at the side of him, he's not huge, he's not fleshy, he's athletic. So therefore, that means he's trained very hard, that means he'll be very fit, that means he's prepared for a 12-round fight, 12-round brawl.
Sean, the super middleweight division at the moment, one of the strongest in the world. We've got some big names in there, haven't we?
Yeah, some really big names, and I know George Groves personally. I've known him since he was 17. I know that this guy can punch, can literally punch, and I'm under the understanding this is going to be a great fight. It could go the distance, but with Groves' power, I wouldn't be surprised if he puts him down and out.
Let's see what the scales say. Just over 167, so he's just inside the limit.
13 pounds, 2 ounces.
So Chudinov ready to go.
Fedor Chudinov. Next
and now
up onto the scales, his record, an excellent one consisting of 25 victories, 18 wins by knockout, with only 3 defeats. From Hammersmith, London, England, he's the WBA International Super Middleweight Champion, St. George Groves.
Terrific reception for George Groves. Is this going to be 4th time lucky? Pretty much a victim of the success of the super middleweight division at the moment. And he too comes in
11 stone, 13 pounds, 6 ounces for St. George Groves.
So he is inside the limit as well. So we have a world championship fight, and this is the opportunity, Sean, that George Groves has been craving.
Yeah, you got to crave this. If you don't crave this, you won't make it too far. You know, so right now, both these guys, they want that belt. They want that championship. They want to be called champion of the world. So we'll see tomorrow night what both these guys can do, and we'll look forward to a great match.
Johnny, this has got to be the chance, hasn't it, for George Groves?
Listen, it's his 4th chance for a world title. There's no 5th chance. He's done very well to get a 4th opportunity. But I think it's a great opportunity for George. He's taller of the 2 fighters. He always looks like he's very tight at the weight, and he doesn't hide that. On this occasion, chest, arms, they look big. They look, you know, and he still made the weight. Don't be surprised at the size difference. It looked like 2 different weight differences by the time they get in the ring. So his size, he's got a long jab, he's got a good thudding right hand. It's how he sets it up. His fight with Martin Murray reminded me of the George Groves of old. If he can perform like that, then we'll have an amazing final hand with these 2.
WBA Super Middleweight Championship of the world. It's all tomorrow night, right here in Sheffield at Bramall Lane. Fedor Chudinov, St. George Groves.
So we have a championship fight for these 2. Sean, is your only concern perhaps that, given the fact that, as we say, Fedor Chudinov is maybe a little bit of an unknown quantity at this sort of level, that George Groves takes him at all lightly?
Yeah, George Groves has the upper hand. He has the advantage all the way around. He's in his hometown, backyard, basically, being from London, and as the gentleman behind me said before, he's so much bigger than this kid right now that coming to the ring, he'll be a lot bigger, and he'll impose his will tomorrow night.
Former champion Fedor Chudinov, current international champion St. George Groves.
So we have a championship fight as far as that one is concerned. Kell Brook and Errol Spence coming up very shortly, but as I say, Johnny, talking about the experience now that St. George Groves has, of this being his 4th attempt at a world title fight. How much does that hold him in good stead for this fight, do you think?
Without a doubt. Listen, he had two cracking fights with Kell Brook. To me, I thought the first fight, it was an amazing performance by George. The second fight, he probably was a bit three smart. He outsmarted himself on that instead of putting the pressure on him. If he can turn back time and keep that tempo, keep that unpredictability about himself, use that long jab, use the movement, don't waste time, don't waste energy, he should shut Chudinov down. If he lets Chudinov get into a roll, into a rhythm and push him back, and that's what Chudinov does, then it gives himself a harder fight, a harder task. He needs this win, because I don't think George is the kind of guy that wants to perform at European level or domestic level. He wants to stay at world-class level, and this being his fourth attempt, it's most important he pulls this off, because of course there's a match with James DeGale down the line. That'd be great here for him in the UK, so he needs to pull it off, because that to me is a peach.
Sean, do you think the hunger will still be there for George Groves? Do you think that hunger will have grown because he's been so close so many times?
The hunger is definitely still there. You talk about turning back time. It's unfortunate that we're human and we can't do that, but the great part about it is this is a sport where you can fight and prove yourself. And after being tried to prove himself a few times and coming up short, he's hungry, he's ready, and as we can see, he will go for that belt and get it.
Okay, let's go to this stage because Andy Scott is with George Groves.
George, thank you for joining us. I won't keep you long because I know it's hot. Is it now or never for you if you're finally going to lift this world title?
We'll see, won't we? We'll see. I'm ready. Done the weight well this time. Feeling really good. We're ready.
Will you have to be at your best to beat Fedor Chudinov? How highly do you rate him?
I will be at my best, and I will beat him. So that's just how it's going to have to be now, I think. Andy, let's say, feeling good. We're ready to go.
It's been a long, hard journey to the top, plenty of ups and downs, but put it into words for us, what it would mean to you to hear those words and the new.
It would mean everything. I'm not exactly sure how it will feel. It will be, it'll be good. It'll be very good.
Just finally, what's your prediction, George?
Win. I'm going to win, become world champion.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andy. And a man of few words this afternoon, George Groves, which is unusual because he does normally have plenty to say. But on this occasion, fairly quiet. Is that a sign of just how focused he is, Sean, do you think?
That could be a sign of just how focused he is. I know at this point for myself, I'm done talking. I'm done saying what I'm going to do. I'm ready to get in there and do it.
What did you make of that, Johnny?
There's too much on the line for George to mess about with any of this stuff here. The weighing's done. That job's done. He now wants to just fight because his career is on the line. He cannot afford any slip-ups, so he can't play that game. He can't play the media game. There's no point in him bragging and boasting or shouting and threatening or anything. He just needs to wait for the bell to go, get on with business and get the job done.
OK, gents, thanks very much indeed for the moment. Join us very, very soon for the main event weigh-in here in Sheffield. Kell Brook versus Errol Spence Jr.
Who again are fighting for a Commonwealth title, a vacant Commonwealth super featherweight title on Saturday night. And first of all, if we could call upon John Kays. John Kays, a former English champion, 22 wins in his professional career. John Kays weighs in 9 stone, 3 pounds, 2 ounces, so within the championship limit. And now to the scales from Barnsley, Andy Townend. Townhead also a former English champion, 18 wins in his professional career. Andy Townhead weighed in 9 stone, 5 pounds, so over the championship limit. He will have 1 hour to get back on the scales and make the weight of 9 stone, 4 pounds.
Very good afternoon and a warm welcome back to Sheffield. We are ready for the main event very, very shortly. I've got Showtime Sean Porter and Johnny Nelson here with me in the sunshine. It is absolutely beautiful, a huge crowd here, as I'm sure you can probably tell. We are getting very excited, of course. Thousands here at the Steel City, just outside the City Hall steps, enjoying the sunshine and ready for what should be a fantastic event at Bramall Lane in front of 27,000 people on Saturday night. Let's get the boxes on the scales then, and let's head once again to our MC for the afternoon, Mr. Michael Buffer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the weigh-in we've all been waiting for. Tomorrow night at Bramall Lane in Sheffield, Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing in association with TGB Promotions will proudly present the main event of tomorrow night, 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Welterweight Championship of the World. And it's brought to you live on Sky Sports Box Office and exclusively to America on Showtime, sponsored by BetSafe, StubHub, and JD Sports. Let's welcome to the scales, ladies and gentlemen, the challenger and champion. First up, the challenger, undefeated as a professional, 21 fights, 21 victories, 18 by knockout. He's from DeSoto, Texas, USA, the undefeated IBF #1 ranked challenger in the world, Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr.
Might expect no surprise that Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. gets the reception that he has. Kell Brook, of course, very, very popular in these parts, the hometown boy. They call him The Truth, Sean, but is he the real deal?
I think he certainly is the truth. He has a lot of abilities. He's been fighting since he was a kid. He's wanted this moment since he was a kid. So I think something special could happen tomorrow night.
What does he have to do? How does he have to dictate this fight against a very, very dangerous fighter like Kell Brook?
He's got to keep the fight clean. He has to make every round decisive that it's him winning. That means going after Kell Brook, applying a lot of pressure, and also being smart and being defensive-minded.
And just listen to the roar as the local boy makes his way out onto the scales. All of the lights blaring on the speakers, and a tremendous reception for Kell Brook. Thousands have turned out here in Sheffield in the sunshine.
Undefeated as a professional, 21 fights, 21 victories, 18 by knockout. Ranked number 1 in the world by the IBF. Errol, the Truth, Spence Jr.
So the challenger, the first man on the scales, a welterweight limit, of course, 10 stone 7, 147 pounds. There has been an awful lot of talk as to whether or not both of these fighters are going to be able to make that limit. Here we go. And he's just in by the looks of things. We await confirmation.
6 pounds, 5 ounces for the challenger from the United States, Errol the Truth Spence Jr.
So Errol Spence nicely inside the welterweight limit. Now, of course, the big test as we see Kell Brook taking to the scales.
Kell Special K. Brook.
Well, certainly in terms of his physique, he looks incredible. That is no surprise. And he is inside the limit as well. So all the questions have been answered. Both fighters have managed to come in inside the welterweight limit.
And they both look really well. Up to this fight, I thought the weight was going to be a massive issue for Kell. Actually, I didn't realise Spence has also got the issue. But these two guys are big welterweights, big units. Wait till they've refueled. Wait till tomorrow night. They'll both look at a size above them. They'll both look like Stoke middleweights, you know, because these guys have got a big frame. So this is now about skill. The hard work's been done. All the work in the gym, all the work in preparation, all the tactics, that's been done. Look at the physique of both these fighters. They are like supreme race cars. They just want to fight. Spence is a little bit taller, longer reach, and that means he'll have a sharper stance. He doesn't usually use his reach that well as a southpaw, but he's got excellent speed, excellent body shots, excellent variety. Kell, a good offensive fighter, he needs to use his power, and that's what he's going to depend on. This is business. This is nasty. This is business with these boys.
A few last words being exchanged between the two of them. Errol Spence had a smile on his face a little earlier, but Kell Brook has come on with what looks like a very, very serious business face. He is ready to go. They both are now for Saturday night at Bramall Lane. 27,000 will be packed in as Kell Brook, having been up at middleweight, comes down to welterweight. And one last roar of the crowd as Kell Brook excites and delights his fans ahead of what should be a terrific fight here on Saturday night. Sean, you had a good look at both of them on the scales. What did you make of just how ripped and ready these guys look?
I saw exactly what I hoped to see, what I thought I would see. Both guys are ready. When they're ready, that means they're both going to perform at their best, and they're going to pull it all out of each other tomorrow night. This is going to be a great fight. Hard to choose a winner. Both guys have it in them to win this fight. I'm looking forward to it.
Errol Spence looked very relaxed there with a big smile on his face as the two of them started with the head-to-head shot. But Kell Brook looks mean, moody, and businesslike.
Yeah, and as he should. You know, Errol Spence should look comfortable. He should be ready for this opportunity. If he weren't, he wouldn't have traveled all this way for it. And on the opposite end, you got Kell Brook in his own backyard. He can't do anything but feel good about this turnout and feel good about tomorrow night. It's going to be electric.
Johnny, just how much pressure is Kell Brook going to be under on Saturday night, because he's in his hometown, in front of his home crowd, at his own football ground, for goodness sake, in front of 27,000.
Kell's the kind of guy that finds calm throughout chaos. He likes his kind of pressure. He liked the pressure when he had to get in with Gennady Golovkin, because not many people thought he'd pull off the win, but he performed outstandingly even though he got the loss. This one here, going in as a champion, and the challenger is a favourite. He smiled to himself thinking, give me that, I like that. That's why this pressure, he needs it. Dominic piles that pressure on him because he knows when the pressure's on him, he performs at his best.
Okay, let's go then to the stage again and rejoin Andy Scott, who is with the champion, Kell Brook.
Kell, So many people said you couldn't and you wouldn't make the welterweight limit. Now you've made it. Tell us how it feels.
I'm enjoying myself now. Refueling up, get the fluids back in, rehydrate, get the carbs in. Fun part starts, the fight. You know, I've done the hard work getting down to welterweight. Everybody didn't think I'd get there. You see me in great shape here today. I'm ready to let some rockets go, some chocolate brownies.
How hard have you had to work to make it? And are you confident that you can put it all back in for tomorrow?
Of course, I've busted my balls. I went to middleweight, I put that extra weight on. Opportunity to fight Golovkin, and now I'm fighting the #1 contender for my belt, going back down to welterweight. I love a challenge. Here we are again to impress.
What does it say about your character that you weren't prepared to give that belt up that you worked very hard for?
I'm stubborn. Actually, I'm stubborn, and I want to fight the best. This is going to be one of the fights of the year, because I can tell in his eyes that he's coming to bring it, and I always bring it. So everybody is in for a fantastic night.
Sum the fight up for us once the first bell rings. What's going to happen?
No one's going to take a backward step. It's going to be fireworks. There's going to be so much action in that ring. It's unbelievable. The car's packed. I just can't wait. Giant, the sun's out, the guns are out, we're ready.
It's difficult to replicate the night that you won the title against Shawn Porter, but is this a pinch yourself moment in front of your home fans at Bramall Lane?
Absolutely. Sheffield, Steel City, bringing it back home, bringing boxing back here. Fantastic World Championship boxing. Can't be beaten with a son like this as well. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to bring it as well.
How highly do you rate Errol Spence? And will you have to be at your best to beat him?
I have to be at my very best to beat him. He's going to bring the best out of me, and hopefully I bring the best out of him. So we're going to see fireworks on the night.
Will this prove that you're the #1 welterweight in the world if you win tomorrow?
I beat Spence. I'm the #1.
Your final prediction, Kell, for everybody here.
Make Sheffield proud. I'm going to go out there and win in style.
Best of luck.
Well, apologies for any offence that may have been taken for some of the language there. Kell Brook obviously very emotional in front of this big crowd, as you might expect. And also, of course, he will have had to work very, very hard to get down to that 147 limit. We now have, of course, the added complication of the fact that there is a check weight tomorrow morning. So neither fighter can now put on any more than 10 pounds in weight than what they have been at the welterweight limit now before tomorrow morning. So that is another little added nugget. There's something else that we've got to be careful of here.
Well, I've had to deal with that before, and my team, we handled it very amicably. We know that as long as you are careful, just pay attention to the scale as you eat and rehydrate, weigh in the next morning as early as possible, and then you just put the rest back on. So I'm sure he'll be fine.
Okay, let's go back to this stage. We can hopefully see Andy Scott again, who is with the challenger, Errol Spence Jr.
And next to the scales, another
Errol,
former star
a very
of Team
intense
GB.
head-to-head. What did you see when you looked into Kell Brook's eyes?
Competed in the Rio
It looks ready.
Olympics.
And, this is
Gold
something I've waited
medalist
for
of
my
the
whole life.
2015
Fight a
European
great opponent, a great
Championships, 2
champion,
fights and 2
and I'm willing
wins
to dethrone him
as a
Saturday
professional
night.
so far.
How do you feel ahead of your first world title shot?
I feel great. I feel strong. I'm ready to fight. I made weight, so now it's time to eat and drink and prepare for Saturday night.
What will your game plan be, and what sort of fight can we expect?
You'll see the game plan tomorrow, but you can feel the action-packed fight. There's going to be a great fight, and it's going to be one for the books.
He's promised excitement, and he's promised that chocolate brownie right hand. What have you made of all that in the build-up?
I don't care about that. Of course I might get hit, but whatever he call it what he want. But it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be an exciting fight, and I cannot wait for tomorrow night.
Do you believe that the shot has come at the right time for you in your career?
Definitely. Timing is everything, and I feel like this is my time now.
Do you feel that you can knock him out in front of his home fans?
Definitely I can. It's something I've been waiting for my whole life, and I definitely can knock him out in front of his hometown fans.
It's going to be a hostile atmosphere. Are you looking forward to that? Are you going to relish that?
Oh, yeah, it's nothing but motivation. At the end of the night, they'll be cheering for me.
What do you imagine when the ring empties, it's just you and Kell, and the lights come up? What happens?
It's wartime. All the talking is led up to this fight is over, and now it's time to glove up and it's time to fight and see who is the best welterweight in the division.
You're known as the Truth. Is the truth that you believe you'll become champion of the world tomorrow night?
Oh, definitely, 100%. I will become the IBF champion of the world tomorrow night.
Knockout or points, you're very confident?
Knockout or points, but we are going for the knockout.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. No surprise that Errol Spence is extremely confident. He's doing exactly what Kell Brook did to you, Sean Porter, coming to your backyard and taking the title off you. But that's what Errol Spence is doing here. Is he capable of doing that, do you think?
You know what? I'll tell you a short story. My dad took him to a world tournament in Russia. After the first round, my dad said to him, you need to take a step back and just use your jab. And he told me that Errol Spence looked him in the eyes in the corner and told him, no, coach, I got to go after him. I have to make him respect me. That's what he's going to do tomorrow night.
Johnny, a quick final word from you. What do you make of what you've seen this afternoon?
Well, if Errol Spence is going to do exactly what Sean said, that's the worst he can do, fight with fire, because that's how Kell thinks. He wants to have a tear-up, he wants to have a war. Kell is hoping this fight is like Princess Hamid's fight against Kevin Kelly. And if they both think that way, that is how this fight is going to turn out. And it's not going to last very long. So let's see who's going to use brain over broad. But it's going to be an exciting night.
Johnny, Sean, thank you very much indeed for joining me this afternoon. It looks at the moment like everything is on for Saturday night. Kell Brook defending his IBF Welterweight World title against Errol Spence Jr. here in Sheffield, Bramall Lane, tomorrow night.
4 ounces. Super lightweight on Saturday night. Please welcome to the scales, first of all, from Hereford, Dean Evans. Dean Evans weighs in 9 stone, 11 pounds and 5 ounces. And now to get weighed from the world famous Ingle Gym, 16 wins as a professional fighter from Rotherham, Atif Shafiq.